Good morning, everyone. This is Harry from Hasper TV, and yes, after I filmed my last video, which will actually go up a few hours later now from this video, Tottenham Hotspur sacked Antonio Conte. Well, he left by mutual consent. So however you want to put it, Conte is gone, and Stellini and Mason will take charge for the rest of the season. Now, after Conte's comments, just before the international break, it's no surprise really. He spoke the truth about the club, and the hierarchy didn't like it. So yeah, here we are. So it's interesting to me that Stellini's kind of taking charge at the end of the season. I don't know if that has anything to do with Conte, and not having to pay him as much money or something, and that's why Stellini's taken over, or if they're going down the Martin Joel route, because Stellini has some good games for us and whatever, even though he lost the last couple. But and then Mason's his assistant. And maybe they just it's gonna just because he knows the players at least, then I have to put someone else in. But for me, the bigger picture is just imagine number 16 is going to come in next season, regardless of what happens, obviously, now. And actually, Spurs, after second Conte, have a manager at Tottenham has not completed a season since 2019. So that's since Poch left. He was the first one. So that's 4 years, and we've not had a manager complete a season for 4 years under Daniel Levy. And it's not just the fact, obviously, we've won one trophy in 23 years, and Conte sacking kind of embodies that again. I think what's baffling to me a bit more about the Conte sacking, though, is that he actually had us in fourth, which is what Levy actually requires. So I thought Levy was actually going to maybe leave it a bit longer, but no, he got sacked. And it's obviously to do with his comments to the press, because what other reason does Levy had to sack him after offending the club and blah, 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 and blah, blah, even though, like I said again, Conte was just saying the truth. But for me, I'm furious. Another manager failed by Levy, yet Levy won't be called out and held accountable for what he's done again. For people earlier in the season saying that Conte needed to commit to the club, well, Levy has never committed to a manager, as we can tell in the past. Many managers before Conte, including Jose Mourinho, who was sacked 6 days before a cup final, attested to players they wanted that they didn't get. The other day, I read a story from Football Insider, who people say they're reliable or not. It's up to you. But De Vrij, a player that played on Conte, and Lukaku, another player who played on Conte at Inter Milan, were two players apparently Antonio wanted. But Levy said no, he didn't want to buy them, and it was actually to do more with their age, because in the story it said that no, Levy and Spurs want to go to more younger players so they can develop them and obviously sell them on, because that's exactly what Spurs do anyway. De Vrij was 30. It was only for 10 million. Lukaku, you'd argue, may have cost a bit more, a lot more, or a bit more. It depends if Chelsea would have sold to us at that point, or loaned into us. But again, whatever you think of Lukaku, he's a player that Conte wanted, even wanted him at Chelsea. Got Morata instead. And I think Conte would have got someone out of Lukaku personally, and I think he would have got him ahead of Richarlison, or argues maybe someone else. But yeah, again, another manager not backed, but is sacked, and yet Levy gets away with it again. And here we are again. And you could argue we've done this again, another 2 year cycle, because Mourinho was sacked, 2 years ago? And we had to see out the rest of the season under Ryan Mason. This time it's Stellini and Mason, but it's a recurring thing. We had Nuno, of course, those like 6 months in between, but you don't count. He didn't last long. He didn't last long at all. But it's a recurring thing. People always say win now managers, but two serial winners or win now managers, however you want to phrase it. Two managers who've won trophies at pretty much every other club they've managed, apart from Tottenham. Mourinho and Conte both come to Spurs. And like I said, they didn't win a trophy. But you can't blame Antonio Conte for exploding like he did the other day, because he probably was very frustrated. The press keep prodding you, asking you questions like, "What do you think? What's wrong? What's wrong with this club?" Blah blah blah. And it's like, well, guess what? He spoke the truth. He exploded, and he gets sacked. But the sacking is not a surprise to me. Like I said, after that outburst, it surprised to me in terms of our league position, because obviously Levy loves his fourth place, but maybe he thinks Stellini and Mason might still get us there. I mean, it's interesting they do, but at this point, like I said, I don't think it's going to happen, and I don't really care either way. And yeah, I think Nagelsmann, in a few hours' time you'll see, I did a video on him. He's a new shiny toy, the new manager we'll be linked with. Is Nagelsmann going to solve the problems at the football club? No. On the team from now, no. But I'll go into more details in that video later on. But as for Conte, I'm furious, I'm sad, and I back pretty much any manager that comes to the club. The only manager I didn't really like was Sherwood, but again, he was a short-term appointment, so yeah. And Nuno I wasn't a big fan of either. Not against him as a person, I just didn't really rate him that much as a manager. But I still got behind them. And it's just, to me, we're just going to repeat the same cycle again in 2 years. I'll be here in 2 years doing a video, and you can bookmark this, on probably Nagelsmann, whoever else comes in now. And maybe with someone else, you never know. It might be someone else after that, the next manager, talking about how we failed yet another manager. So yeah, I mean, what can I say? You could really jump on the hamster wheel next season because it's going to happen again. And Conte is just number 15 of the sackings, or 12, 13, whatever you want to put it. I don't know. People don't want to count the interims, but anyways, he's failed at Spurs, and not a surprise. But the sacking isn't a surprise. To summarize it, it's not a surprise. I'm furious because, again, like I said, it's another manager that's been failed. Has been failed at Tottenham. Not he's failed Tottenham. Tottenham have failed him, or Levy has failed him. Not giving him the players he wants, and then you expect him to turn water into wine with Eric Dyer and Davinson Sanchez at the back, with players like Longley on loan, and you suddenly expect Conte to turn water into wine. And yeah, well, Antonio. Well, obviously our best memories of him probably being Arsenal 3-0 at home. That was a brilliant game. But this season, some people were arguing that he deserves a sacking because the football wasn't great. But like I said before earlier in this video, he can't exactly play football with what he's got. So like I said, that's maybe why he deserved the sacking. But like I said, I don't think he really did deserve the sacking. But yeah, here we are again. And as people like to say, who want to defend Levy, here we go again. But what choice do we have? We support Tottenham. And yeah, I feel for your Conte. If you're watching this, don't worry, I know the club failed you.